As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Some of them seats in, some of them front kicks in. Still cooling. I'm still cool. I ain't busting sweat. That's what it is. Yoga. Passportbros.
Passportbros up.
In the building. Shout out to my boy BMT, man. Yeah, go cop some new merch.
All right, and we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is Sunday, the first Sunday of 2024. I want to welcome all you guys. Happy New Year's. Hope your 2023 was great, and you guys did some traveling in 2023. We got a real good show lined up for you. We're going to talk about a lot of things and concerns of the future of the Passportbros, and we're going to go over some stories that happened this week in Colombia as well. So we've got a lot of things to talk about today. But first and foremost, I want to say welcome to the family. I hope all is well. All right. Let's see who we got in the building before we get the show started. All right, we got Dirk the Destroyer in the building. What's good? We got Wonder 7 in the building. We got Kevin Johnson. He says, "Yo, BMT, what up with the app?" All right. I'm gonna address that. Okay, I'm going to address the app. I'm letting a few more people come in the room, but the app is currently up. All right. The guys who were members of the app should have received the email because we had to switch servers to log in, sign up again to the new beta V2 app. Okay. So make sure you check your emails. I know I don't reach their emails like that, but as you can see, the app I got to pull it up right now. So put that up. The app, it's the new app right here, the beta version. Everybody's loving it. Let's see if I put that up. So it is up. Guys are signing up every day. All right. So make sure to check your email. We sent out about 3 emails. All right. We still got about a couple thousand on there right now. So make sure you check the email. If you didn't, you can email me at blackmantravels@gmail.com or admin@passportbrosapp.com. That's admin@passportbrosapp.com. Email your email address and we'll send you the link. The reason we're doing that right now because we're doing beta testing at this current point. And I was going to get into this later on the show, but I'm going to go ahead and knock this on out. Because a lot of guys go on the app and it's saying 404 error code because we had to switch servers because we had grew pretty fast, and we wanted to introduce the new features to the app so it was easier for us to kind of just start fresh with a whole new server, right? So just make sure if you was a member of the Passportbros app, you definitely received the email. Make sure you click on the email, and the link will be there. All right. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. What's going on here? It says, nice shirt. Yes, sir. We in here. We are in here, man. We got Brandon Clark in the building. What's going on, Brandon Clark? What's good? Stocks and passports. He just got the app as well. All right. Like I said before, this is like beta testing, so we just tested some things out. So we got a couple thousand on there right now. We have not officially dropped the app as of yet. This is just beta testing. So if you're not familiar with that, it's basically a little pre-test before we actually release it on the App Store. And this version will be on both the App Store. It's going to be on Google Play and it's going to be on the App Store for your iPhone as well. So get prepared, right? Now, speaking of the app, family, let me get some announcements out of the way real quick before we get into the show. Well, I pull this up. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. All right. Now, we had We had an Indiegogo campaign. All right, here we go. An Indiegogo campaign that ended. All right, it ended 2 days ago. Now we was raising $250,000. We came way short. We actually raised more money on the previous Indiegogo campaign. This is for the Passportbros V2 app. Some of you guys are familiar with us raising money, but some of you might not be. But we came way short. We came about $1,246. I want to thank all the guys that did donate. We really appreciate that. It's definitely going to go towards further development of the Passportbros app. The whole purpose of this is to kind of gain you guys' trust. As you can see, there is a work in progress. All right. But no worries, we're going to do another Indiegogo campaign right after this one. We understand it's the holidays. A lot of people were busy. I had to move from Colombia to another country, so there's a lot of transition. So I wasn't able to communicate like I would usually communicate with you guys by doing videos, daily, reminding you to go ahead and contribute to the Indiegogo campaign for the Passportbros V2 app. All right, so no worries. I say we're going to continue developing this Passportbros V2 app. Like I said, we're gaining your trust right now. We're building trust. I did an Indiegogo campaign 2 years ago. As you can see, we still are sticking with it. Guys are loving the Passportbros app, right? I'm going to show it to you once again right here. We have it. Like I said, this is the beta. Still have a long way to go. A lot of new features are introduced to the app right now. They're testing those features. So no worries, guys. Like I said, we came way short, but we definitely understand, and we will be doing the Indiegogo campaign again following this one. We came up a lot short, and it's okay. Like I said before, man, I think it's great that we are in a position that we can raise money, so we don't have to go to outside sources to retrieve, revenue to build. And usually, when you obtain resources, money, and loans from other groups of people, they kind of have an ownership interest in curtailing your communication or whatever you're trying to do. They have some type of ownership. We don't want nobody taking no ownership at this point. We want to keep it all organic, like we have been keeping it for the longest. So it's okay, not discourage any form of fashion. Once again, I want to thank all the guys that did contribute to the Passportbros V2 app Indiegogo campaign. We're going to continue. All right. We are going to continue with that. All right, we got 51 in the room, guys. Make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button when you come in the room. Somebody said I'm becoming a Passportbro this year. You know what? We actually have an article about how to become a Passportbro. I'm trying to find that article before we go. All right. We got King John in the building. All right. Excuse me. Passportbros need to touch Curacao. One of my favorite countries to travel to. Yeah, man, the Caribbean is dope. The Caribbean is dope. All right. The Caribbean is definitely dope. Let's see what else we got. We got Kevin Johnson in the building. We got AMSM. I thought it was ASMR for a second. A man supporting men, aka MPI. Shout out to you. So salute to BNT and everyone in the chat. Salute to you as well. So what's been going on, family? I know everybody's looking at the Cat Williams, Shannon Sharp interview. That was a crazy interview, man. That was definitely, Cat Williams is something else. He is something else, man. Very interesting interview by the brother. That kind of was the highlight of the week already early on in 2024. As a guy that interviews, different guys, different people, I definitely understand, you want to give your guests, you want to give your audience the reins to kind of communicate what he's trying to communicate to the people or your audience per se. So I understand Shannon's part of it, especially when you're drinking. That seems to be the new thing now. Drinking on your podcast, so you can get the guests to kind of open up a little bit more. We all know, the alcohol is the liquid courage, so to say. But it was very interesting, man, from a Passportbros perspective on that situation. I think all the brothers want to give some type of positive image. I'm not gonna lie to you. I grew up watching Steve Harvey, watching his TV show. I think it was a great look. It was something different when you had all this gangster rap going in. So sometimes I think that people get caught up in the personal, and I'm seeing a lot more personal digs at successful black men, you know, by other black men, whether it be about Puffy, whether it be about other things. And I kind of want us to get out of that habit. You know, some things I understand can't all be in-house, but the thing about it is it's already a tough road for any black man. All right. It's already a tough road. Tough road. You got a lot of things going against you. You have a lot of things going against you. And I think when you go through so much and you see somebody that looks like you tearing you down or putting your business out there, even though it might be entertainment at the time, it's kind of like a bad look to a certain degree, in my opinion. It was funny as hell. Yeah, Cat is funny, you know, and he took some jabs at the guys' wives. I ain't really cool with that, man. I kind of think as a man, you should leave a man's family out of it, you know, especially his wife, his children, because you just went from, okay, he said some shit about me, you know, and we could have had a conversation and talked over that. But now when you talk about somebody's man's wife, despite whatever situation they're in, that man has the right to address you however he feels like he needs to address you. Sometimes that could be physical. That's all I'm saying on that. You know, I'm not like a celebrity junk guy. I just want to. I know guys been talking back and forth because we had about 100 shares in the Passport Bros Facebook group about the Cat Williams and the Shannon Sharp interview. We declined pretty much the majority of it because, you know, as Passport Bros, we got more things on our minds and concerns traveling the world. All right, we got way more to talk about. What up, King John? What's good? What's good? We got 75 in the room, guys. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Let me know how I sound on my audio. Is my audio good? I'm using a new camera, and I don't have my big mic set up right now. So let me know if the audio is good. Just press 1 for me real quick. Let me know if I need to switch the audio. All right. Let me know if I need to switch the audio real quick. Yeah, man. It was a very interesting interview, most definitely. Yeah, let me know if my audio is good. He said audio coming in and out. Okay, I don't like to hear that. Is the audio bad? Is the audio that bad? Let me look up my other mic. Somebody said the audio is coming in and out. This is a brand new camera too. Let me hook up my mic real quick. I'm glad I asked. I am glad I asked, family. Let me see what's this. Right there. All right, here we go. Here we go, family. Let me go ahead and get the audio back. I want to do a little test with the camera real quick. All right. Somebody said the audio is good. All right, hold on. Go with Passport. I'm sounding. Am I still going in and out? Let me know. Let me know real quick before I get the show started. Okay, so everybody said we're good now. Okay, perfect. What up, Lando? What's good? What's good? What's good? Now, I know some of you guys have already heard. All right, we got a lot of news coming out of Colombia. I'm going to touch up on some of the news today coming out of Cartagena. We got some breaking news coming out. This news has been going around for a couple of days now. I have heard some rumors about it, kind of through the rumblings of other Colombians about Cartagena, but we're going to discuss that too. We're going to discuss Cartagena in a moment. All right. So salute, bros. Featuring white. Let's do it up, y'all. Okay. Now, before I continue, I got some good news.
Revolt Black News Weekly.
Before I get to the other news real quick, let me go ahead and move this out the way. All right. Now I've got our girl MK Williams. Now, some of you guys might be familiar with this story. Some of you might not be. We got 2 brothers out of DC, the Stevenson brothers. DC born Rob Make sure you go follow him if you're not already subscribed to him. I know most of you probably already are, and he does a lot of news about Medellin. But you got two brothers named the Stevenson brothers out of DC, who has been locked up in Ecuador for 6 years. All right, they was locked up in Ecuador for 6 years, framed for a murder they did not commit, unfortunately. But they are out. And I'm gonna play this clip just to kind of familiarize yourself with the story. Like I say, some of you might know, some of you might not.
Host Ebony K. Williams. Black beyond the borders, from James Baldwin in Paris to Maya Angelou in Ghana, Black Americans have long journeyed for a better life across the world. But when leaving the States, not all experiences abroad yield safe and secure treatment. In 2014, John Stevenson left America for his ecotourism dream in Palora, Ecuador. And as those plans became a reality, his older brother, Brunel, joined by his side. But within 3 years, an American dream for two brothers with booming success in a foreign land turned into an Ecuadorian nightmare. Their revolution to gain justice and freedom is tonight's prime story.
What I learned from this experience is being a Black man, the first question anyone asks me that's Ecuadorian is, where are you from? And I'll say, I'm American. And their response will be like, no, you must be Haitian. There's already a stigma being a Black man traveling.
From Ivy League to incarceration, John, with his brother Ranel at his side, spoke to us about what they say is a wrongful conviction and a 34-year sentence that started with a tainted arrest.
Around 4 or 5 in the morning, our door gets bust in. One set of gentlemen in ski masks with large guns yelling, everybody get on the floor, get on the floor, get on the floor. The prosecutor says, you know why I'm here, you know why I'm here. Tell me why I'm here. I said, I do not understand why you are here on my property. I haven't even seen a warrant. We see 50 or 60 indigenous Shuar that are from the Tawasip community roaming throughout our property, when we later come to find out that they were on the property since 3 in the morning, 2 hours prior to the police arriving to serve the warrant. One of the members of the Tawasip community comes and punches me in the face.
All right, so I want to stop it right there. I just want to give you guys kind of an update, but these brothers are free. They were sitting in prison in Ecuador, unfortunately, for 6 years. They had purchased 155 acres of land. They was kind of out there on the dolo, I would assume. And I want to point out something that he said. He said traveling as a Black man, right? And they assumed that he was from Haiti. He couldn't be from America and all that good stuff. It's very, very unfortunate. It wasn't too much they can do, in my opinion. But when guys buy land overseas, you got to do a lot of research, all right? Not only in a sense of, the lawyers and what the government is saying, but you got to, in South America, it's a lot of social laws and social rules, unwritten rules, like a lot of places, right? And I think what happened was when they bought the land, they bought some land and they kind of took it from the people there, indigenous there. It was similar to a guy that bought a building in Barranquilla and he was killed. I forgot the brother's name. Unfortunately, he had passed away. But when you go to these foreign countries, guys, you really want to make sure you do your due diligence. Just don't listen to the lawyer. Try to be friends with the locals. Try to, ask a few questions around and say, hey, because in a lot of cases, especially in South America, a lot of those lands that might seem like nobody's on them or something like that are actually controlled by guerrilla groups, hiding in the jungle. You got cartels producing, various drugs in these lands. You got all types of things, and I knew brothers that own land in Colombia. They own land all over the world and everything. But unfortunately, I think what happened with these brothers, thank God that they're free now. I think what happened, in my opinion, was people were probably already utilizing that land. If you look at this area right here, I don't think those brothers built that area. I think it might have been possibly already there. They just purchased it. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But these are one of the things that you just got to be aware of. All right. These are one of the things you got to be aware of. But thank God Thank God these guys are out and they free. They are free. They was sentenced to 34 years and framed for a murder that, of course, they didn't commit. A little backstory. The police came. They said they found a dead body on their land. The indigenous people basically drug a dead body on their land, and they accused them of murder. All right. And they had, of course, nothing to do with it. They just pretty much wanted them out the country so they can get their land back. All right. All right. G-Mac. What up, G-Mac? He said the technical term is sanitized. You have to ensure the property is sanitized and no longer tied to the cartel. All right. Shout out to my man G-Mac second. I think we kicked it in Brazil for a while, about Azuka, if I'm not mistaken. But appreciate it. I did not know about that term. I do appreciate that, brother. He says the technical term is sanitized. You have to ensure the property is sanitized and no longer tied to the cartel. All right. WM Mustafa says, leaving one place as a minority, going to another place as a minority. All right. OG It 917, I-917 says, also, some of these governments are left-leaning socialists, so be careful. Exactly. Like I said before, I do know of some gentlemen that own property in Colombia. I know some guys that own property in Africa as well. But you definitely want to do your due diligence, especially when you're buying something like 155 acres. All right, that's a lot. That's a tremendous amount of land. And these guys were definitely educated. They were very successful, but they couldn't believe, because of the social economics in Ecuador, they really couldn't believe that these brothers had that type of money to buy that type of property, right? So not only was there a little envy, a little jealousy, they just couldn't figure like, hey, nah, man, you Haitian, y'all shouldn't be here. Oh, they did buy the property. And then they say, you know what, we're going to get them on up out of here. Let's kill somebody, drag a body. It's South America, man. You know, it's you know, and the thing about it is, even in North America, you find out through our history that when we had lands by water, they would come and take it away through a highway. They always had these little ways of redlining, or where they, like I said, we had a whole town, I forgot the name of it, in Georgia, that was basically on top, was Lake Lanier. They flooded the whole entire town. You know, they had a whole beach in California. They figured out a way to take that beach away. So to make a point for the brothers, I think that they understood that, and they say, you know what, we should be good in South America, because like I say, people do buy land in South America. It's not, you know, that it doesn't happen, but you have to be extra careful. I don't want to keep saying that, but you got to be definitely extra careful when you in a foreign land, different country. You don't really know the soft laws, like I like to call them, like little soft laws that you really don't know. And the people that might be trying to settle land, or real estate agents or realtors or whoever, salesmen in general, they're going to be pushy. They just want to get their money and go. All right. So you just got to be real careful when it comes to shit like that. All right. Yeah. Oscarville, Georgia. That's right. Oscarville, Georgia, now Lake Lanier. Whole entire successful black town flooded. You got Black Wall Street, eminent domain. That's the word I wanted to use. Great tape. Eminent domain. All right. All right. GMAT says the exact same thing happened to a white American who tried to purchase Pablo's disco property in Guatapé. The government seized his money and took the property back. You know what's funny, man? Because I ran into, my first time in Brazil in 2017, I ran into a German on Copacabana. He was pretty much down bad. You know, he spoke perfect English, of course. He didn't seem like the type of person that would be, you know, in the ruts. So he struck up a conversation. He wasn't begging or anything like that. And he just told me his story. Sometimes it's easier to tell a stranger your story than somebody that you know, right? And he said that he was in real estate in Italy. And he had, you know, had his hotel or some huge property that he had, you know, himself and a few guys invested in. This is Italy. And basically the mafia came and just took it and gave them nothing. They did all these renovations. They had said, hey, you know, they just working with who they thought were just regular Italian governance, right? Regular people that work within the government. And then they fixed up this whole, I think it was a hotel or something, like a event center. It was something commercial, basically. And he said they worked on it for like 4 years. They built it up, did all this stuff, sank millions of dollars into it, different investors from Germany to invest in Italy. And at the last moment, they was like, we're not going to pay you anything, and this is ours. And they found out they were dealing with the Italian mafia the whole entire time, right? That's pretty much connected all the same. So, yeah, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. You got to definitely know what you're dealing with. But people would take your money. You know, I know of properties in the DR that's been sold several times. Yeah, that's true. Dane says in Latin America, many people do not expect Black people to have money to do big things. That is correct. We got 158 in the room. Guys, do me a favor and make sure you hit that like button. All right. Somebody said it better be at least not owned overseas. And like I said before, you hear the horror stories. You know, I know a guy that had a business in Thailand. I'm not gonna say his name, and somehow, some way, the Thai girl finessed him out of business, out the paperwork and everything. Everything he thought was going good, and she basically finagled. She knew people in the government there, and she finagled her way to obtain the business right up under his nose. So, things like this unfortunately happens. No, I'm not saying no names. Y'all already put names in the chat. All right. No events coming up in Medellin anytime soon. No, sir. Nope. No events in Medellin. Okay. So what's in store in future of Passport Bros? Family, it's been a hell of a journey, right? You know, all this started out super organic, all right? The phrase was coined really from the Facebook group Passport Bros, which I started, I think about 3 to 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. What was it? No. It was 2-3 years ago, actually. 2021, I believe, I coined the phrase Passport Bros as a Facebook group. It was simply a Facebook group. And it grew really fast because all this initially started with them taking the original Black Man Travels group down for no reason. This is what started us to get our own application, as you can see right here. We decided to get our own platform so they wouldn't be able to disconnect us like that because we felt like it's power in communicating, it's power in numbers, right? And as you can see, this whole ideology of the Passport Bros has totally blown up. You know what I'm saying? It's totally blown up. And just to see it grow the way it's grown, I'm in Outback Steakhouse, right? I'm in Outback Steakhouse. Let me move this on the screen. I'm in Outback Steakhouse, and I'm with a friend of mine who's basically been showing me around, everything like that. And we meet his friend. He says, "Hey man, this is BNT. You heard of him?" He's like, "No, oh, he's the Passport Bros guy." Like, "Oh, you the Passport Bros guy?" And he had like mixed, feelings about it. But I explained to him, I'm like, "Look, bro." He said, "Well, what is about?" He's asking all these questions and everything. And I said, "Listen, Passport Bros was always more focused on group economics, traveling in search of traditional women. All right. It never was associated with the creep cameras. It never was associated with any form of controversy of going back and forth with, the gender war, going back and forth with women. The women, took the Passport Bros and did their own thing with the term, right? Because the term itself, right? Passport Bros, the orientation of the term, bros, Passport Bros is triggering. It's very triggering to them. Then on top of that, we got flooded with, of course, the dating coaches, all right? But then you had the plantation bros and the haters, the podcasters, and it just became this big snowball effect. Organically, it became this big snowball effect, right? And people expect for something that started so small, and for a guy like myself that has somewhat of a limited reach, to be able to control something so large. But I look at it like something like this is almost like a fire, right? You put a little embers in it. You start it small. The fire blows up. You know, you get it cooking. Everybody's throwing stuff on the fire. The haters, they're throwing on the fire. They're angry. You know, they don't like the orientation. They don't like to see guys traveling for whatever. They envious. You know, the guys who can't travel as much, who can't live overseas, they hate it. The women hate it because it's a pocket of their society. You know, betas, simps, whatever, kind of leaving and showing receipts, showing them being happy. They don't like the fact that you could be 35, 40, older gentlemen, right? And you can leave the country and find genuine love. They are super envious and jealous of that because a lot of times when women leave the West and they go to another country, it's all games. The games intensify. In America, they have it all. But when they leave overseas, they have to compete with, you know, Maria or Sheen or Lo Mai or something like that. Or what's I don't even know the African woman name, but you know, Matika or something like that. It gets bad for them. I've been in Brazil on outings with American women, sisters, and they say how bad the dating market is for them. Right. As a matter of fact, a lot of sisters that travel, a lot of women in general that travel from the West, they are traveling either with men, right? Or when I mean traveling, I mean meeting up with these group trips with other American men, or they're trying to date American men overseas as expat, like expat dating. All right. But anyway, I don't want to go too far in the woods. The flame has gotten big, right? There's no way we can control everybody that hashtag passport bros. It's impossible. It is impossible to try to control everybody. But I'm thinking that the flame would eventually die down. We got 181 in the room. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm thinking that the flame would eventually die down. And then when the flame dies down, would that be a year from now, 2 years from now? That's when you kind of, put the little, control it a little easier, right? That's where you kind of can use it for its advantages of everybody hearing the term passport bros. But right now, it just seems like it's going to just keep building up. I thought that when Passport Bros went viral, it was a viral moment. I thought it was a viral moment. Hell no, I want no viral moment. This thing is gone beyond viral. It's been going beyond viral, John Doe's. Hitmaster C, all right, Lando. It's become more so almost of the most recent phenomenon because it's sticking around. It's getting bigger and bigger. And the women are a driving force behind it. The hatred from the women and the misunderstanding of the men. So much so that you got guys with 1 million subscribers changing their format to meet the criteria of Passport Bros, right? They already have an audience and they're moving and transitioning into the Passport Bros because so many people are leaving the West. It's real strange what's going on in the world right now, guys. You got to really be careful and watch out and make sure your paper is good, right? Because you got Americans leaving and immigrants coming in. Like this little circle they got going on, right? Americans are leaving with their American dollars. Immigrants are coming in to obtain American dollars, and they're going to be leaving. So like this little circle, right? Like this little circle. And to me, that's more important than going back and forth for 10 to 8 hours on a gender war on why we should be allowed to travel. Now, we know, especially as Black men, that a lot of people are not comfortable. A lot of people are not really comfortable with us going outside of a social norm. In general, not a thug, not a gangster, not a street dude, and you're older, a certain age, you're 35 and up or whatever. Generally speaking, you're supposed to be working a 9 to 5, which most of us do, right? But when it comes to concerns of relationships, you're supposed to be like the stepfather or something, right? Dating, going endless dates, the swinging bachelor, going to different bars. That's kind of your zone. Stepfather, big unk, you taking care of your auntie, your sisters, or your baby mamas. This is a whole bunch of bullshit. Basically a whole bunch of bullshit past like 35, 30, 40. And a lot of guys recognizing that. They just like, you know what? Passport Bros. Let me look a little deeper into this. What up, Bluffy Nerd? Let me look into this. All right. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Put the Passport Bros t-shirt on. Check it out. All right. Somebody said, stop thinking about what other people are thinking about you. You are a grown ass man. It's the weekend man, hell to the north. Exactly. All right. What up, Space Ghost? So more Americans in general are traveling. Now, Americans have this, not stigma, but Americans are very stereotyped around the world, no matter where you go. You're American, whether you're white American, black American, male or female, you are looked at in most countries outside of Europe, all right, and maybe Japan or something like that. In most cases, they're looking at you like you're rich. If you're not rich, somebody you know is rich, one of your family members is rich, but you come from the financial capital of the world. And this can be looked at in many ways, but it can also be looked at in a very bad way in concerns of South America. All right? So I'm going to play this video. And my brother, Andre, from Andre Love Crossing Borders, I got to say the whole name, shout out to Andre. He broke this video down, family. Excuse me. He broke this video down. All right? So I'm going to play this. I'm not going to play the whole entire video. It's a very long video. This video is coming out of Cali, Colombia. I want you to pay attention at some of the mistakes that he made. All right? I want you to pay attention to some of these mistakes.
Pretty nice Airbnb
that this guy made. Now, I believe this guy's Canadian or something like that. All right? He's in Cali, Colombia. Now, he is a YouTuber. And he's been doing a lot of content about Cali for about a year now. All right. I was unaware of his channel until he dropped this video. We got 197 room. Make sure you do me a favor, hit that like button. We live. All right. So let me continue. This is the very beginning. I'm not gonna play the whole entire video, but I want you to hear the setup so you can familiarize yourself on how they're setting guys up in Colombia. All right. Let me go ahead and play at the very beginning. Here we go.
whole life. I hope people who watch this can learn from it, learn the lessons of, how to be careful, how not to make the same mistakes that I and my friend did. The story starts off on 24th of November at my Airbnb. I rented a pretty nice Airbnb in Cali. It was an Airbnb that had its own swimming pool. So my friend Karsh, who's living in Cali as well, he was like, I want to come over and check out your pool. And I also want to invite one of my friends, Nicole, who he had talked about previously, and I think he had known her for a month. As far as I know, they were not romantically involved. I come home from my salsa class to my Airbnb, rest up for an hour, and around 7:30 p.m., Karsh arrives. And right after Karsh arrives Nicole, and Nicole ends up showing up with her friend Natty, who I know for about a year. Again, I've met her a couple of times in my life, and Karsh has also met Natty through me, and apparently Natty was who introduced Karsh to Nicole.
Knew her for an entire year. Knew of her for an entire year. I want y'all to peep that.
So surprisingly, Natty shows up, and again, at this point, we're like, whatever, cool. We're hanging out with them. Karsh had invited another friend. She shows up about half an hour after these girls. Karsh's new friend, her name's Giselle. She comes in and she's about to change. Natty and Nicole, the first two people who came, they ended up going into the room with Giselle. And Giselle brought a friend, closed the room for 5 minutes. We assume they're changing. And after half an hour, Giselle decides to leave with her friend. They leave and Karsh goes to drop them off to their Uber. And then Karsh comes back. Karsh tries to tell me something. And Karsh says, hey, come here. And he tells me, Giselle was telling me something about stealing. Nicole was telling her that they want to steal from us.
Okay, right there. The story should have been over with. All right. His story right in there. Girl goes up. I guess it's the girl that he's familiar with, that he's known for a year. He says, hey, his friend says, hey, they're saying that they're going to steal from us. Okay, so right then and there, you see, right? You hear that. At that moment, that was me. Okay, if that was me, everything would have ended. Nothing would have went past 1 minute after I heard they're trying to steal from me, because I know what that means. That doesn't mean they're trying to steal some pocket candy or some change or some no. This is Colombia, boy. All right. That could entail kidnapping, torture, whatever. All right. So it would have been over. It would have been a big scene. I would have fucked up everything. But let's continue.
We take this information and we're like, okay, if they're gonna steal from us, let's get out of here. So we're right away like, let's go to a bar. This is it. Party's over here. Let's go to a bar. And at that point, Natty goes into the bathroom to change. She's like, I need a lot of time to change. I need to like get ready. Nicole is like, oh, I have a friend who's dropping something off and I have to wait for her here.
Why are we still talking? Why are people changing right now? Why are people changing? Why are people going why are other people coming? She just told you that these girls plan on stealing from you. Like I say, I know what that means. That doesn't mean, okay, I'm stealing some pocket change or no, hell no. Everything is, why is she stealing the home? Why was she even allowed to go to the bathroom? Right? But let's continue. Sometimes, man, these guys are trying to be too goddamn nice and cordial. Man, fuck all that. Fuck all that nice shit. Get them out. And why are you trying to go to a bar? The night is over with. Everything from that point on was stopped right there on the tracks. It's done. Everybody out. If you don't leave, you will be physically removed. And you call the police. Or you go down and get security. But let's continue with the story. This is a crazy ass story. I can't play the whole thing, but this is a crazy ass story that could have been avoided. This is why I'm playing this for y'all. This shit could have been avoided 100%. But let's continue with the nice guys in South America, in a nice Airbnb.
And we're like, no, like we're gonna go to the bar now and have your friend come over to the bar. We try to push for it and like we're trying to rush them out of the place. Long story short, we don't succeed and we don't understand how grave the situation is. So we also don't run away. About 15 to 20 minutes later.
15 to 20 minutes later, another pause on that. 15 to 20 minutes later, after they had already been told that these girls was going to steal from them, which in Colombia could easily mean tortured, robbed, and killed, okay? They're still parlaying around with the girls still in the home. Let's continue.
Nicole's friend arrives and Karsh goes to check in on her. I call one of my other friends who lives in Cali. I told him like, hey, something's going on, like something doesn't feel right. Just in case, here's my address. And while I'm saying that, I feel a gun to my head. At this point, I only see one guy. He's coming to my Airbnb and he just snatches my phone and he's like, shh. Shows me his gun is loaded, ties up my hands, puts me in my room.
I'm not victim shaming here at all, but my man, you had 15, quote unquote, 15 to 20 minutes. They rolling around. You letting people inside. How the guys even get into your home, bro? Why are they still in your home? First of all. And to be honest with you, I told this to a friend of mine. You're gonna see two different. I got another video I'm gonna show you. All right, you're gonna see two different types of individuals that dealt with this. All right, me personally, I'm not gonna allow somebody to tie my hands up. I don't give a fuck. I'm just sorry, I'm not. To me, it has to happen right there. Personally, that's me personally. You're not gonna tie my hands up. You're just not. You can take whatever you want, but you're not tying my hands up. No. I'm not gonna call him slow. Somebody said, "What a victim." I think he's not trying to smile necessarily. I think he's just trying to because he said in a video that he's kind of been laughing at himself, right? But now you got the robbers in the home, and people say it's cap. I don't think it's cap because he showed that this was actually on the news in Cali, Colombia. It was on the news. The police came. He shows the video within his video of what all happened. And I'm glad everything worked out. I'm glad nobody got hurt. It's a very, very scary story. But I'm going to play just a smidget more. And I'm gonna wrap it up for us so I can play the other video of the similar situation, right?
And at this point, I have no idea where's Karsh, where's Natty, where's Nicole. I just see this guy, and then after him, I see 2 or 3 other guys follow him. But when they walked in, by the way, the first thing they said was, "We're from the Kali cartel." I don't think that's true. At this point, they're like, "Yeah, you guys are being robbed. Give us everything you have." So since I've seen the bullets at this point, I'm like, okay, here's all my cash. I guide them to everything they're probably potentially looking for. And in my mind at this point, they're here to take our TVs. They're here to take our, they're here to just rob the Airbnb and leave in a couple of hours. At some point they ask, hey, is anyone gonna come here? Someone was gonna come clean the pool the next day. So I informed them of that, thinking that this is gonna incentivize them to leave sooner. But that went the wrong way, because later on, I was informed by Nicole. So she tells us that these guys are here to use our credit cards. The main goal is to swipe our credit cards for multiple days. And I heard them talk in Spanish. They're gonna stay here till Sunday. They came in on a Thursday and they're gonna stay till a Sunday. So their plan was to do this for 3 days.
So did y'all hear that correctly? So basically, that 15 minutes of time that the woman told them they plan on stealing from you, right? That meant these 3 guys gonna come in and hold them hostage, basically. Kidnap them. Not even hold them hostage, but kidnap them. Took them to a shitty little motel room in some roach area in the Cali, Colombia, right? And was basically going to use their cards while they sitting there drugged up because they forced them to drink scopolamine as well, right? So this could have been somewhat avoided if they would have got the girls out in 15 minutes. The girls purposely ran into the bathroom to say they was changing to give the guys more time to basically bum rush into their home. They weren't paying attention to one of the girls to let the guys in, let the robbers in. They entered and explained to them, hey, we're going to drug you, we're going to tie you up, and we're going to use your credit cards. Not another situation, but they actually was put on a phone with a Colombian American or some form of American, right? They explained to them, because everybody was speaking Spanish, what was going to happen. So this is Gringo seemed to be on the other line. I'm just wrapping up the whole story now because it's a long story. Seemed to be coaching the robbers. The girls that he was dealing with was the guy on the phone's girlfriend. So they was set up by a girl, this guy known for a year, and one of the girls warned them and said, hey, they're about to do this. And the girl leaves, right? With her and her friend, the quote unquote, I guess the good girls, they left them to this, basically. The girls didn't even go to the police. They were scared of the robbers. So they didn't even tell the police nothing, all right? Right? No. It's the Weekend Man. They were actually kidnapped from their Airbnb, put it in cars, and taken to the motel. All right?
But now that I told them someone might come to clean the pool, they're like, okay, we need to get them out of here soon. So they start scheming what to do with that information. And meanwhile, I'm like, hey, please, can you put me and Karsh together? They do that. They're nice enough to at least put us in the same room. At some point, we ask for water. I drink half of it. Karsh realizes the water is drugged, so he refuses to drink it. And they put a gun to his head, get aggressive with him, and make him drink the whole drugged water. And this water was meant to make us feel very drowsy. It was slightly yellowish in color. And by the way, all these robbers were just doing drugs. They're snorting stuff. They kept offering us stuff, and we're obviously like, no. They did give me a beer, which was my own beer, so I drank it, literally hands tied, drinking a beer like that. Honestly helped me relax in such a stressful situation. Meanwhile, my friend, who was calling to give my address and I couldn't, kept calling me. So Nicole picks up the phone at some point and tells me, hey, tell him everything's okay. And then I was forced to tell him everything's okay because there's a guy with a gun. Any movement we make, we're gonna go to the washroom, this guy with the gun follows us. We're not able to do anything, basically. And at this point, yeah, they're like, where's your laptop? They go through all my cash. They take my Russian cash, Indian currency, like everything. They do give us our passport. That was very nice of them, I guess. The only nice thing they did is at the beginning, they found our passports, handed it to us. So they came in at 10 p.m. Around 1 a.m., they tell us the plan. They're like, you're going to be taken away from here to a hotel because we feel it's dangerous here. Someone might come in. We're going to basically kidnap you and take you to a hotel. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I need some clothes if we're going to be gone for 3 days. And I remember I had.
Okay, so I'm a basically, somebody say it's a long video, and shout out to them, man. I'm glad that nothing happened to them. I'm glad they was able to leave with their lives. To make a long story short, they were taken to this motel somewhere in Cali, Colombia, and it was arguments. The robbers were arguing back and forth. The robbers basically were going out, that was going to the ATMs, taking money off the cards. We're telling them, the robbers that were sitting at the house, that these guys are broke, they don't have any money, and we can't really get any money, which was frustrating the robbers that were basically sitting there. They called the robbers the Moreno. So these was, I guess, the mestizos and the pretty much like the mixed Colombians. So they were lying back and forth because what this guy did, which was very smart, he said, hey, give me my cell phone. I'm going to see how much money he took out. So see, these guys are lying to you. So he basically put the robbers against each other. They've already taken out $7,000, right? And because of that, they was able to kind of finesse their way and get out of that situation. To make a long story short, they were basically let go on the street once they purchased some gold for the guys, and the police the whole time was looking for them because, like the guy said, he was able to make a call and to his friend and say, hey, I'm being robbed, and the police have been trying to pretty much locate them. So fortunately, these guys were able to leave their lives. They were got for a total of $25,000. Both of them. The two guys were got for 25 grand, right? So when that chick told them, hey, these girls plan on stealing from you, you see what that entails. Not a watch, not a phone, not some guy running through there with some guns, which they assumed. They pretty much took everything they had within that 24-hour period. Unfortunately, they had pointed a gun up to him a couple times. They thought they was going to kill him. Very sad situation. But that lets you know that, hey, guys, don't trust anybody, man. If you get warned that, hey, you got 15, 20 minutes, get the girls out, call the police. All right? All right, I'm going to give a shout out to Cool Cat with the 5 super chat. It's the first super chat of the night. Excuse me. He says, I got a lot of good memories from Medellin, but I will not be returning. Who wants to look over their shoulder when the purpose of traveling is to relax? Man, that's a very good point. That is a very good point. That is a very good point. All right. All right.
And she didn't.
So we got another situation. And I'm going to play the whole entire video. And I'm not trying to fear monger here, but these videos are coming back to back to back. On top of that, when I was in Medellin, I had a lot of friends that got scoped. Right? These guys, one of them was Tinder, one of them was Instagram. It always seems to be associated with a woman. You know, for the most part, it's always associated with guys pretty much dating out there, normal dating. And these guys might know these women for a year. As a matter of fact, when I first got back to Medellin, a friend of mine, my guy Juan, he was telling me, he said, Aaron, you got to be really careful now. This guy's Colombian because you got some really good Colombian people. And I know Juan for 3 years. One is a pilot, but he does Uber on the side. All right. And he was telling me, he said, Aaron, what they're doing now, this is coming from a Colombian, what they're doing now is they're dating these guys. They're dating the foreigners for a month, 2 months. They're gaining their trust. And they're saying, oh, hey, you know, what do you do for a living? Do you have crypto? I want to learn about crypto. Tell them about, oh, you own this property, you own this Airbnb. And they're finding out, engaging, what's your net worth? Are you a rich gringo? Are you a broke gringo? They're just trying to figure out, what's your weak point? How can they get you? And that's what they're doing. In the beginning of the story, he said he had known Nicole for almost over a year. And the guy had known the other girl for like a couple of months. And these girls, one of them told him on the way to the Uber, when he was dropping the girls off, he was telling them, the girl told him, hey, these girls plan on stealing from you, which in Colombia could mean anything. right? His friend returns and say, hey, Danielle says these guys plan on, I think that's her name. They plan on stealing from her. The girls, being nice guys, the girls say, oh, we can't leave yet. I got to change. At that point, there's no more Mr. Nice Guy. You got to say, hey, you got to go right now. You're not getting to details of how you know. You got to go. You got to get it. This is Colombia, all right? One of the most dangerous countries in the world, right? Get them out. Call the police. Lock the door. Barricade the door. Don't let nobody in. You know, be on the phone with the police. Say, I'm not answering this door until I see some badges or something. Call all your friends. Let them know what's going on, right? Or you could just get them out and then you leave and go somewhere else. Whatever works. The point is, it was two of them. It was two of them. And it was at one point, it was two guys, two females, a 15-minute window to get those females either out or to leave. And they got slow played by the females that want to go and quote unquote change. Let me ask you, how many times do girls come to your house and change? Most of them are going to be already dolled up before you see them. Am I correct? Simple little logic like that. If you're going out, most women are either going to meet you. If they do come, they're going to already be dolled up because they like to get dolled up in their own bathroom. Not your bathroom, the guy's bathroom. What about their makeup? You know how pretty women are, especially Colombian women. They want to look dolled up before you even see them. So that should have been red flags. These guys were being way too nice and almost lost their life because they were being nice. All right. So this is another situation. All right. This happened actually in Medellin. Okay. We got my guy here. Shout out to him. And he pulled a move that I think that some of you guys would have pulled, including myself. All right. But let me show you the setup. And shout out to the Obi channel. He does the scopolamine videos. All right. So it's a different setup. Still a woman, though, at the end of the day.
Extended trips. Last time I was here for 3 months. So familiar with the risks of the country, and I feel like I'm a fairly aware person and not completely stupid. But I definitely made some bad decisions a few weeks ago. I met a girl. It's always about a girl, right? A very pretty girl in Provenza. She didn't approach me. I approached her. I asked a gringo who lived here, like, if he thought she was working, because I was trying to stay away from a working girl.
All right, so sorry just to interrupt you, and I know the guys are going to be like, let the man speak.
So good.
Honestly speaking, were you looking for a working girl, or you?
No, that was the whole point. I've been trying to meet organically, Tinder, Bumble, like to meet a real girl for like a relationship kind of deal. So I meet this girl. I approach her. I talk to her. She's got good English. She's really cute, beautiful, pretty, hot, everything. Tattoos.
All right, so that's the girl, family. That's the girl that set this guy up. It was very pretty. It was very innocent. You know, not a lot of heavy makeup, no tattoos. A lot of guys be like, when we post the girls that you know set the guys up, the guys be like, oh, well, look at her. She got a tattoo. Well, you know, I would have never dated her. Look at her. You know, she look like a vampire, this, that, and the other. I mean, look at her. That's the picture of her. That's the picture of the girl that set this guy up.
She says she's waiting for her friend. And this is outside Vin Trash on Carrera 25. So it's very popular tourists, loads of gringos. I got a Gringo Tuesday at Vin Trash, which is sort of near where she was. We go for one beer, conversation. She likes coffee in the gym and this kind of thing. So yeah, it was just, she spoke good English, and it felt like there was chemistry.
So you met her that day, and then you went to have some coffee on the same day.
She spoke English. That was very interesting. I have not really heard of too many women setting up guys to speak English. Damn, now they're even learning English.
And this was the night before, on the Tuesday.
Right.
We had one beer, and I offered to walk into an Uber, and she said, oh, do you mind if I hold your arm? These shoes are high, like the heels are high. I put my hand out, and she's like, oh, I don't want to hold your hand because it's too familiar. And I was like, oh, that's like really sweet. We both said we like this Pergamino coffee shop. We agreed to meet there the next day. I was going to work remote. She shows up with a really cute French bulldog. I can't
This
remember
was
what
the
his
next
name
day, right?
This was the next day, like 12 o'clock in the day, daytime, all good. So there'd been no talk of sex or drugs or anything. It was all seemed to me very like above board. And I was like, well, look, I'm going to this MMA gym. Do you want to come? She said, sure. I just need to drop my dog and change my clothes.
Right. So where was the MMA gym? Where was it? Was it based around?
It's like 5 minutes from Santa Fe Mall. Like,
Right.
so we're in Provenza. That's like a 10-minute Uber away.
Okay. And there was nothing about her which looked suspicious. She didn't, she didn't give you any like, weird vibes or anything like that.
Okay, so one
I'm gonna point out the red flag in a moment.
of the guys, I posted on Reddit just to make people aware, so like at least there can be some benefit. Someone can learn from my story. And one dude said, "Oh, the fingernails," and I was like, "Well, I live in the Caribbean. Like girls have all like crazy nails. Like to me, it was not too long. They were kind of nice. Like she said she's a nail technician. It makes sense. She's gonna have good nails."
Right.
She said she liked coffee, but then when we were drinking the coffee, she was like, "Oh, do you want to finish mine?" Which minor thing is like, if you like coffee, you're not gonna half drink your coffee. We go to get a taxi. I go to order an Uber, so I get her address, so I know where we're going, and I look on the map to make sure it's a good area. I see it's in Belen. I got friends who live in Belen. I know there's some dodgy parts of Belen, but for the most part, it's all right. So what happened then? Yes. So as I put the address in the Uber, and I don't know what I did. I showed it to her or something. She's like, "Oh, this is gonna take too long. Let's just get a taxi." I was like, "Cool," which was definitely a mistake.
Red flag number one.
Right.
Don't get into taxi. Like always book your own Uber.
So
Big mistake right there. Big mistake. Something small, light, simple. And I'm dealing with a woman I just met. Always control the Ubers. All right. In driver, you want a record, you want to be able to see. What I do personally is I get an Uber, and when I get in the Uber, I click on Wise. I think it's Wise or Waze, the little ghost car. I think it's Waze or Wise or something like that. And I track it. It's like up to date tracking to make sure I'm following the same address that the driver's going to. Is it Wade? Is it Wade? Why? All right. What up, Rayhana? But let's continue with the story, though. So that was his first mistake. Yeah, Wade. Why? Wade. Yes, that's it.
I just want to ask a question, right? At the point where she said, like, let's get the taxi, when she was with you in the coffee shop, did at any point was she on her phone texting or doing anything like that, texting somebody or acting weird, or did she say, listen, I've got to go off and make a phone call or something like that? Anything like that you didn't pick up?
There was nothing really triggered then. It was when she said, let's get the taxi. Like, I know that's not the right thing to do, but I didn't really care because I still wasn't, nothing was triggering then. When we were in the taxi, maybe it seemed like she didn't know where she was going. And she was a bit quiet, and she said she felt sick from the coffee, but she had no food, which I know that happens. Like, it's happened to me. So, like, it's kind of, there was a weird, different vibe, but it didn't seem anything that bad. But just because I'm trying to always be, thinking ahead and careful, I already texted my location to 2 groups of friends. I had a bunch of friends here for my birthday, and I had another friend or a couple friends who were still in the country. So it's like, better safe than sorry, right? As we're pulling up, I see really nice buildings, like expensive apartments. I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to one of these. There'll be security, it's all good. Somewhere along that way, I just had the presence of mind to have like a tactical Supreme pen. So it's like a sharp, pointy metal pen. And I took that out of my bag and put it into my pocket.
All right. So he's already kind of sensing danger here. He's retrieving, in essence, like a little small weapon. So it's something telling you, and I was told growing up by some of my street relatives to always go with your first mind. Like always go, but don't ever ignore what you're feeling at the moment. If you feel like something that ain't right, it's better to err on the side of caution, right? So he's already kind of, because remember, he's going back to her place so she can change.
This is another stupid thing I did. Like I would work remote and go to the coffee shop and back home again, but I would never go anywhere else with my expensive laptop and all my shit. So I had like more stuff than I should be walking around in Colombia with, and I know that. So that's
all right. Real quick. So he met her at a coffee shop. More than likely, he had his laptop out. All right. He has his laptop on and everything. She basically gets the taxi. All right. Doesn't get the Uber. They're on the way back to supposedly her place so she can change to go to some MMA gym. All right. And let me say this before, bro. I'm not victim shaming at all. Listen, I've been on plenty of dates. All right. I've broken all the rules. I feel like I'm just pretty much lucky. You know, I'm not going to say I'm just this, super on point all the time. I mean, when you live somewhere, you just relax. I mean, Medellin looks like heaven with one of the most beautiful views, the most beautiful women, just good energy. It's an amazing city. That's why I returned to it for a while. And I've been on dates. I've walked to women's houses. I mean, I'm trying to think. I've never really been in any typical situations. I mean, more likely I'm dating Afro Latinas for the most part. I've been in barrios. I've been everywhere, man. It's just, so this can happen to anybody is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to put this out like these guys are just so dumb and I'm just so smart. I'm just saying that at this moment, I was very naive being in Colombia. And I think sometimes being naive can be a gift and a curse. I didn't really know how dangerous it was. I brought women home from sketchy clubs in La Setenta and all that stuff with friends. And I've done it all, man. And fortunately, I've never been in any sticky situations. But I'm always on the air side of caution, and I'm always paranoid naturally. I'm a paranoid motherfucker naturally. So if I think anything, feel anything, if I hear anything, everything will stop right then and there. It won't go forward. But I'm gonna continue with the story. I'm gonna sum the story up. I'm gonna play a little bit more. And I'm gonna skip through it a little bit because it's a long interview. But I'm gonna continue.
That was a mistake. Getting her taxi was a mistake. So we rocked up to the crib, and it's not one of these nice buildings, but the street is okay. There's people in the street. There's like a hamburger shop across the road, guys sitting outside. We pull up to a low-rise, like a 2-story apartment, gated. The key's under the mat, and I'm like, that's really secure, isn't it? She said it was her aunt's place. Her aunt worked in real estate. I was like, oh, maybe, she has multiple places. She opens the door, she walks in, she's like, oh, can you close the door? And I'm looking at the place, it looks like a clean Airbnb. Still, like, not really.
So did it look really clean? Did it have any furniture in there?
It was like a proper Airbnb, like.
Right, okay, so did it look like someone was living in there?
It didn't look that lived in, no. It looked like how they put it.
It looked like a trap house, like a place.
Well, it didn't look like a trap house, but it definitely was a trap house because I was trying to remember how it happened in my head because I think I got a little bit confused. I got hit in the head quite a few times. So we walked into the front door and there was like the living area and stairs coming down. And then there was like the dining table with chairs and then a kitchen in the next room. I took my bag off and put it on the first chair. Like I must have closed the door, put my bag down, and then right away, I guess they were upstairs. They just had come down the stairs, and 2 guys pop out. We're here in the hospital. I think I got shot maybe 3 or 4 times. I think it was just glancing wounds, but I got pistol whipped a few times. I stupidly fought the 2 guys, but they wanted to tape me up. And there was no way I was going to let that happen. They were going to have to shoot me if they wanted to tape me. We walked into the front door, and there was like the living area and stairs coming down. And then there was like the dining table with chairs and then a kitchen in the next room. I took my bag off and put it on the first chair. Like I must have closed the door, put my bag down. And then right away, I guess they were upstairs. They just had come down the stairs and two guys pop out.
What did these guys look like? Do you remember?
Colombians with like shitty COVID masks on. Both with shiny guns.
Both?
Yeah, both pointing them at my head. One taller, bigger, one skinnier.
So, just sorry to cut you. So at that moment when you saw those two shiny...
And the interview going a little... he going deep. I get his interrogative process here, but I'm gonna go ahead and some of the video. Basically, the girl set him up. All right, they met for coffee. He met her the previous night. You know, they met for coffee. They're supposed to go to the MMA gym. He had his computer on him. They went back to her home for her to change. And when he gets there, as soon as he dropped his bag down, two guys approach him. Now, this guy's story was a whole lot different. It was a bigger outcome. I think he's a bigger gentleman. He explained that he trains MMA. He's a fighter and everything like that. And basically, to make a long story short, the guy just fought him right there. He just fought him right there. He threw furniture at them, all types of stuff, and was able to pretty much escape with his life. He was shot 3-4 times, okay? Like I said, this is a bigger gentleman, trained, in shape, and he basically said, he wasn't going for it. He's one of the survival victims. And in a lot of cases, these guys get killed. But like I say, you never know how somebody's going to react to danger. And what actually saved him was that tactical pen that he had. I don't know if you guys know what tactical pen is. It's like these little pens. They got like a little, it's not necessarily made for too much defense, but you can see them. I carry mace on me. A lot of guys, if you were in Colombia, you can go to Central and buy mace for like $5 or something like that. Mace will help out a lot by blinding your attacker. Switchblade, little knife on you, little switchblade or something that could, do a lot. And basically what the guy did was he took his little knife, his little pen, and he proceeded to stab the guy in the neck. So he got the little small guy, took the small guy and placed the small guy in front of him and basically was tapping him like that in the neck, shielding himself away from the gun. And the guy was kind of just popping him like that. Similar to what was the story about the dipset guy? The dipset guy, Freaky Zeke. He was doing the amazing story. And sometimes big guys have the advantages, you know what I'm saying? Like he put a little guy around him and he was able to pretty much get on up out of there. So it was the only way they took for him, I believe, was that pen, but somehow he was able to wrestle his way up out of there. All right. And he was able to get to the police. I don't want to skip too much through it, but I want to kind of sum it on up. All right. Somebody say he made some obvious mistakes. Yeah. Like I say before, man, this guy lives here. He just speaks a little Spanish. After a while, you just get comfortable, But sometimes I do feel like it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of the end so we can wrap this on up. And I'm going to bring on my man Go with Passport Crew. Hold on. Let me see where we at right here.
The biggest one, whatever, quickest, let's do it. I don't know how much longer it took after that, but I know there was a lot of waiting. And then they did maybe 5 x-rays and 1 or 2 CT scans. And that was 3 hours in total. And then finally they came someone to patch me up and saw me bleeding. Prior to that, they had someone follow me around with a mop. And like a cleanup bucket and mopping up blood after me. I was like, why are you missing no patch this shit? I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect that x-ray. So that was super fun.
Okay, so check this out, right? So I'm here yesterday in Poblado, right? Time's about 1 a.m., I think, right?
Probably, yeah.
I've got work, right? Because I'm on London time. I got work. And then I bump into this guy. He's 6'2" or something with tons of tattoos. He's sitting right now in front of me, but I meet him yesterday. He's having the greatest time of his life. He looks as if he's been drinking.
I had been drinking.
And I'm thinking to myself, hang on a second. Wasn't this guy just like almost kidnapped like a couple of weeks, like about 10 days ago? Why are you still here? Like most normal, if most normal people who are rational, who are thinking, would have been like, you know what, fuck it. This was close. Why I'm leaving the country. I'm leaving Colombia. Why are you still here in Colombia?
That is a very valid and legitimate question that a lot of my friends ask me. Because I mean, I love it here, man. This is like one of the best cities you'll ever come to in your entire life. It's got everything I love, and I still think about moving here. I am aware of the dangers. I know that is a literal possibility. I have heard the stories. I've heard about, you know, that Vietnamese American guy who died from the girls over scopolamine him. Like I know, I was staying at Seoul and 2 guys got scopolamine there, and they have a security desk that checks everyone in. They wouldn't even let our Canadian Colombian friend who is like, she looks Colombian, but she's very much Canadian, right? Like, but eventually.
Shut up, Tank.
So to make a long story short, guys, he was able to get away. Hold on, let me mute you real quick. He was able to get away. He doesn't want to leave Medellin. I understand it to a certain degree. I don't know how well traveled the guy is, but just be mindful and be careful. Is the point of the story. Medellin is truly a wonderful city. I was living there for quite some time. I love it. Great vibes, dope vibes, but it's just these little things, these little mishaps. Like I said, I've made all these mishaps. I was very lucky. I was very naive my first year in Medellin. And sometimes you feel like, man, when is shit gonna happen to me? Especially when you hear friend after friend after friend getting drugged. All right. I want to welcome to the show Global Passport Crew. Global Passport Crew, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, my brother? How's everything going?
Brother, what's going on? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. How's it going?
I don't know why guys are going to continue going to. I can't blame all of Colombia. I mean, it's just these particular cities like Medellin and Cartagena that have these issues. But to continue going down there, I mean, why? You know, you're setting yourself up to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just that's the problem. I only hear it's just happening to Cartagena and Medellin, and you know, and then there's certain little cities here and there, but pretty much, you know, Colombia is a dangerous country. When you have to look at it overall, is the women worth it? That's something you got to ask yourself. Is it worth your life? Because now this is losing your life. And doesn't seem like the government doing anything to prevent this.
No. You know, on that first story, I didn't play the entire story, but the Cali news basically pretty much manipulated the news and was acting like the police had rescued the guys when that's not really what happened. And he said that on his own video, on his own words. He said that the news pretty much, you know, made it seem like the criminals had surrounded. No, the police had surrounded the criminals, and the criminals had to let them go, and they're on the lookout for the criminals because the criminals escaped. But that wasn't what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a lot of cases, man, it's just a very bad situation to be in when you get a crime committed against you in South America, especially in Colombia. I think in Brazil, the police are going to do their due diligence. You know, they're going to, you know, Brazil is a little bit more up to date with the policing, in my opinion. But in Colombia, it's way different. It's way different. I'm just gonna put it that way. It's way different.
And that's the point. You know, I'm not knocking, you know, Colombia.
Hey, Passport Privilege, come on the show, bro. This is California Desert State. And you gotta deal with that.
I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Colombia. I'm not knocking Colombia as a whole, but we're constantly hearing about these issues on, and we got to figure out, you know, what can we do to make if you're going to go there, make your travels safer, or just not go at all, because it's not worth your life, to be honest with you. It really isn't. And you're getting
what's funny? You know what's funny, Global Passport Group, and I'm gonna drop another link. I was sitting in Colombia, man, and say, I love Colombia, but after experiencing Thailand and Southeast Asia, it's just like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute.
Big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I mean, the women are definitely some of the most beautiful women you'll ever see in the world. But man, I mean, safety is always priority. It's always number one. And a lot of guys, it's getting to the point now where guys are not justifying, but they making it seem like it's a lot of victim shaming going on. Like, oh, I would never do that, or well, why did he do that? Why did he do that? And I'm explaining, I'm like, bro, you can walk out. I've heard of stories of guys leaving their home to go jogging or some shit and get drugged and robbed and kidnapped for days at a time. Like, if they see that you have wealth, is somebody 100% definitely ready to take that wealth away from you by any means necessary. And they have a way.
I know we can't armchair quarterback. We can't armchair quarterback these instances. It can happen at any time, anywhere. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, maybe we need to rethink about going to this country, or maybe these are just instances that we're bringing up to the forefront. But what's the ratio of these incidents compared to how safe this this place is?
Well, you know what, and I'm gonna get to you in a second, Professor Metz. I'm gonna get to you in a second, but I believe in 2023, the murders were actually down in Medellin by 16. Thing came in at like 323, and it was actually down by 16. And Medellin has millions of people. Just to kind of give you that stat. Professor Metz, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. I actually sent you a link for one of the last videos I did in Colombia when I was living in Choco, in Quibdó. And that's because, just so you guys know, Quibdó is it's on the Pacific coast. It's the poorest part of Colombia. Okay, it's a place that I lived. I adopted 2 kids there. Okay, and we've been back and forth, Medellin to here to there. I live in Mexico now. Okay. And so we're good. We're good. It's dangerous if you run around at night. I don't drink anymore. I don't do any of that mess. But if you do run around looking for girls, especially the ones you got to pay for, they got boyfriends and they will set you up. So I'm going to tell you how this goes down. So and I'm not talking about scopolamine. That stuff's been. I got to Medellin in 2010 and then left in 2017. So I guess I got some experience with this because I work with the fire departments. Okay. And every single time we got emergency, like a call to come out, it's some gringo drooling on the floor. Mm-hmm. And of course, all this stuff's gone. But the worst, and this is probably around 2011. We got a guy out of a plywood box. It was basically nailed into a closet, basically. And they had his ATM card, and they were just taking money out until all of his money was gone. And they kept, scoping him the whole time he was in captivity. And then they dump him out on the street. This guy was scrambled. I was the only person who spoke English on the team. So I'm the one who does the talking to everybody that's messed up, tourists, that is. Mm-hmm. Now, we all know there's a big, drastic difference between Passportbros and sex tourists.
Big time. Yeah, right.
Because, I'm ex-military, so we were the original expats, okay? Right. Now, stationed in Panama, the weekends, these guys would sneak down to Medellin. They go, you guys got to check this out. There are girls down there that are so beautiful. Because in Panama at the time, the most beautiful prostitutes were from Medellin. And that's how we found out about it. GIs did. This is back in the 70s. And that is, obviously the cartel and the drugs and all that stuff. But I lived in Medellin for 8 years and never once saw drugs. Never got scoped, never been robbed. And look at me, blonde hair, blue-eyed Serbian guy. And my wife was melanated, so were our kids. Nobody messed with us ever. Now I dropped a video in the back for you to look at. It's the last video that I did before I left Colombia, and there's a key line in that video that got me kicked out of Colombia permanently. And I want you guys to learn this lesson. I want you to learn this lesson hard, because if you fuck around like the guys did in Indonesia, I apologize for cussing. The girls that were arrested in Bali, the girl that was arrested in Dubai, these dummies that were arrested in Ireland, these are all people that are just ignorant of the outside world. When you leave your zip code, you need to know the rules of engagement whenever you go somewhere in advance. Okay? You may have that girl you're chatting it up with for 6 months, and you got her meeting you at the airport. You guys are in a long distance relationship. I want to tell you, don't do that. In fact, take your butt on a taxi and go to your hotel, settle yourself, and go meet a girl organically. Because what's going to happen is after you get there and you meet the girl at the airport you had never met in person, you're going to find out very quickly that in a week there are finer girls around, and maybe she's got a problem. So you're not going to want to settle for the same one, this one-itis stuff, because she's so nice and she's so fine and she's so feminine and so fit and so friendly to everybody, treats me so well. But you never know until you've been with somebody for 90 days. So you guys are going down for a week or 2 weeks. You don't understand. The true colors of a woman comes out at 90 days. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off track there, but I wanted to talk about the dangers are avoidable.
Okay, but hold on. What got you kicked out of Colombia?
Well, if you watch the video, I'll explain it. It's a video of me in Choco, and it's 2 minutes long. If that's not too long, and it's on the river in Choco. Okay. Now I brought a group of guys down that were doing a documentary on Wrongful, French group, and I had like 3 American guys that were in the Marines, and all of them had gotten in some legal trouble or something. I said, well, why don't you guys come down here? You're out of your legal problems, but they can't get a job because, and I'm the fire chief. So I say, well, come on down and we'll run you through training. And if you like being a firefighter, you can go work for any municipality in Latin America. So now these 3 guys, and that's how I ended up down here, was I didn't have any other place to go. I didn't have anything waiting for me back in the States when I got back from overseas with the military. And I really didn't want to go back to the States because I knew that the finest girls were Latina, in my opinion, and I really wasn't interested in flying so damn far to Asia. So, but by the grace of God, man, I did finally meet a nice girl, and she was, I would say age appropriate. She's 15 years younger than me. I'm 52, and I met her 7 years ago, so things have been pretty solid. But yeah, I said something that was against the government of Colombia. And the way I said it wasn't directly. I said what these people do in these illegal gold mines is they poison the river. And the news got a hold of that, and they sent all their newscasters, interviewers, and so on. I was on a plane the next day back to Panama, and I haven't been able to go back since. And I'm sad about that because, I had to move my kids. I had to move my wife, and my kids were just in their last years of high school. So there's that. But that, like I said, if you care to watch that or not, but it is the real Colombia. It's the dirtiest, scariest, most dangerous part of Colombia. And I was never robbed. And I'm a big outlier there because it is a 97% melanated population, and the rest is all 3% is indigenous. So if you really, 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 really like being around melanated Colombians that like to dance, Cali, Parque de Perros, or Quibdó, Choco. That's also where they do the whale cruises. So if you want to see whales or do something fun, head to Quibdó, Choco, meet yourself the fattest ass beautiful girl in the barrio, and she will be so nice to you. you will wonder why you ever wasted so much time thinking about it.
Okay, cool. I want to welcome Passport Bros Finance to the show. What's going on, Passport Bros Finance?
Hey, how's it going, BMT, man? I actually just got one of your shirts, man, from online from your store, and it's pretty good. It was a pretty good
Oh,
quality
appreciate
shirt.
that, my brother. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I have a different perspective than Professor. I hadn't been to Colombia since like 2018, but I've been to Medellin, I've been to Bogota.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are the two places I've been. But I I initially was thinking kind of what Professor was thinking. I was just thinking, hey, these are just passport pookies going down there and they're putting themselves in bad situations. But after watching your show and other shows that are like chronologically going through all this stuff that's going on down there, it's almost clear to me that they're like, they aren't just targeting Black Americans, like they're targeting white Americans, they're targeting Europeans, they're targeting a guy from Korea. They are even targeting locals who are very wealthy from their own country. Like I saw a doctor got scopolamine down there in Medellin. I saw a lawyer got scopolamine. So it's like an economic issue in their country that's probably beyond what Passport Bros are even looking at as far as what's going on in Colombia. Now, on the flip side of this, like to me, Colombia should be protecting its tourists, which is one of its biggest revenue generators, are tourists coming down there to visit. And so I
Right.
feel like the government's not doing that. And then the US embassy hasn't said anything about it. And all these European embassies haven't said anything about it. Because I think this guy that you just showed the video of, I'm not sure what countries he's from, but it sounds like UK or Australia or one of those type of accents. So it's not just passport bros or Black American guys going down there getting scoped and robbed. It's like happening to everyone. And so I just want to bring that different perspective in that, I don't want to like chastise passport bros who are going down there and saying like, although some people are doing very stupid stuff, right? Like wearing gold chains and stuff. To me, that's stupid, right? But I think it's greater than people just being stupid.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. It's a very good point. You want to respond to that, Professor Max?
He is absolutely right. And another thing is the language barrier. If you want to get screwed, don't learn Spanish. What's interesting is that it doesn't matter if you don't understand any Spanish when you go down there, but eventually if you want to live there, you will. Because if you don't and you get a nice girl and she's around her family, they're going to eventually think you're cute at first. But if you don't learn the language, you're going to get hustled because you're not going to understand what's going on. But they're going to think that you're either lazy or stupid. Nobody wants anybody to not take them seriously. So you have to at least try. That means not having your phone out all the time, Google Translate and everything. It means trying to have a conversation. Actually, leave your phone at home and practice speaking, repeating back the words that people say to you. And that's how I learned Spanish, by the way.
Okay.
It's a good trick.
Right. Okay. I got some other people pulling up. Global Passport Crew, you still there?
Yeah, and Professor Max, he's totally on point with the language, and that's one of the problems. A lot of guys are going down there, they're not learning the language and not getting into the culture. You have to know the language. That's your defense mechanism, because you can overhear conversations of someone's trying to do something. It's your survival mechanism. Pulling out that phone using Google Translate is like he said, it's the laziest thing you can do. And that's how you'll get got, because they're going to pull one over you. So if you can speak the language, they're going to be like, maybe we shouldn't pull something on him. They could still do it, but your chance of survival will be better if you knew the Spanish language. And it's not a hard language to learn for most people. You got all these apps. Just spend 30 minutes a day just learning a few words and stuff like that, and just working on verbs and conversational Spanish and stuff like that. And you should have no problem when you're going down there. But a lot of guys are just more focused on the women rather than embracing that culture, and that's where they make that big mistake.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with Global Passport Crew. That's something I co-signed from the beginning. What's up,
I want to
DMT?
welcome
What's
to
up,
the show.
everybody?
What up, man? I want to welcome to your show, Black Man Travels.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, man. What's going on, man? Happy
What's
New
good?
Year's.
What's good? Now you had a disagreement in there. What were you saying in the chat?
Yeah. The pushback is like, I know what people are telling you, like, hey, Colombia needs a break. But guys need to understand Colombia is almost double the size of Texas. There are so many regions and areas you could go and explore. Like I've been to multiple cities such as Bogota, Cali, Buenaventura, to Cartagena, to Barranquilla, to Cartagena. There's so many places you could go where you could actually explore and really enjoy yourself. Why get stuck on stupid with a park and a clock tower? And that's the thing I never understood, because you're kind of cheating yourself. So I just did a live stream this past Friday in which I highlighted Cartagena beyond the clock tower. And a lot of people, I was quite surprised. People didn't know that there were different areas you could go to in Cartagena where you could still have a great time and not worry about getting scoped or drugged.
Yeah, that's a good point, Black Man Travels. Also, I think brothers need to kind of look beyond the big five. Like everybody keeps going to Colombia, Dominican Republic, and this place and that place. But I mean, I'm watching Austin, and like they're going to Chile and what is this country? Uruguay and Paraguay, which I know nothing about those countries, but all of the research that Austin is getting from these countries, I'm like, okay, that may be an option as opposed to going to Colombia and rolling the dice.
But also too, you have to understand the reason why people are not going that far. A lot of people don't have the time or the money to actually go a little bit further. The reason why the Big Four is popular, because that's what they see. So if people start promoting more of the Ecuador, Peru, Chile, then people will go. But also too, let's just keep it a buck. They're going based on the eye candy, what they see on social media.
Facts.
So my thing is like, hey, all right. Like for me, when I went to Ecuador, I'm gonna tell you this right now: the eye candy is not the greatest. When I've been to Peru, it's not the greatest. But if you want the culture, if you want the food, you want to see something different, see history, go there. But if you're going there strictly for the chicas, I say, hey, don't go there. So that's the reason. So like, I try to challenge guys like, listen, don't go for that particular reason, because again, you're missing out. The reason why you got a passport is to explore and learn and enrich yourself. But a lot of guys don't understand that. That's why I laugh about when people say, hey, we need to stop going to Medellin, we need to stop going to Cartagena. It's like, bro, there's other areas within that same country where you could go and have a good time. Like there's Chocó. That's another area where a lot of the Afro-Colombians actually live at. You could go out there and do your thing. You can actually blend in with the locals there because we Black. So there's there's a lot of options. You could go and experience Colombia for what it is. Again, guys, Colombia is twice the size of Texas.
I thought it was the size of Texas. I didn't know it was twice.
No. It's twice the size of Texas. And the thing is, but I think people get stuck on stupid on a park and a clock tower. And even Medellin, like for me, I admire your content, BMT, when you started exploring, going to San Paneta, Envigado, all these other areas of Medellin. You show a different part of Medellin. Guys don't see they don't see anything but the park. They see Gustos, they see Pacaeres, they see their Airbnb. That's all they see. So
the weekend warriors for the most part.
Yeah, weekend warriors. So the thing is, when you tell guys, hey, you could experience other Colombia, there's a lot of expats in Colombia living their best lives, man. Passport Heavy lives there. That record executive that you did that interview with, he lives there. You can live a good life there. But the thing is, you got to put in work. You got to research. You got to move around.
Was robbed twice, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, Passport Heavy was
not funny, but unfortunately.
Wow, man.
So I mean, things can happen. Like it's no different. Right now I'm in Atlanta. I could go pump gas and get robbed at the gas station. It is what it is.
That's very true, man. But this is play devil's advocate. I don't think you're targeted in Atlanta per se. Okay, put it this way: if you go out on a regular date in Atlanta, you're not worried about getting drugged and robbed. Am I right?
No. Well, maybe Miami, but I don't. But here's the thing.
Hey, the women in Atlanta, they're gonna rob you in a different type of way. It's called
they're gonna rob you with that damn food menu. When you get that $500 receipt, that restaurant receipt. Well, here's the thing, right? Something happened when I was going to Colombia back in 2015, 2016. It wasn't the way it is now. I don't know what happened. Maybe the pandemic shifted, but all of a sudden, yeah. When I started going to Colombia,
you right, man. Because when I was there in 2021, I didn't feel like it was that bad.
No,
I went out on plenty of dates.
Yeah, same here.
Same here. But then before I left, it was people were dying every day. That on the news, they were getting drugged, they was getting killed, robbed. So and I guess it just kept going, it just intensified. But maybe it's because of the pandemic.
Yeah, and again, I think something should maybe the high promotion of social media or whatever. But when I was going in 2015, I never felt unsafe in Medellin. And trust me, there've been plenty of times I had drunk nights, partying, and like rooftop parties or whatever. And it's like nothing happened to me. But now, if I go there, I won't be over drinking. I won't buy the bottles and all that stuff. Like now, I'll be more cautious. But it wasn't like that 5 years ago. Something happened. I don't know. It was a shift. The way people perceive.
Do you think it's possible that it's because of the gentrification that's going on?
That's a big push. One thing I noticed, I was in Medellin in 2022. That was the last time I was there, and I started seeing flyers about pushback on gringos. I'm seeing protest posters talking about they don't want gringos in their community and all that stuff. And I'm starting to see more flyers about not having more, Airbnbs and being more strict and you having guests in their building. So I'm like, damn, it wasn't like this before. So something happening. Yes, they're getting disgruntled. People being pushed out. They're getting pushed out to further communities to accommodate gringos. But also, too, they see an opportunity, man, the average income in Colombia, I believe, is what, $500 a month? Mm-hmm. So if you coming in, you got a $1,200 watch or chain, wearing your chains, your Jordans, and your phones and all that stuff. Hey, man, that's like a meal plan for someone.
Especially you walk around with your phone now. That's like the stupidest thing to do. The guys do. They pull right up to you. You got a phone in your hand, gun in your face. Give me your phone. Period. Yeah. Give it to them. Don't fight with these guys. Don't be dumb. You'll get shot. Because they don't shoot you like they do in other countries. See, down here in Mexico, they shoot you and then they rob you. Okay? That's what they do. They shoot you first. Kind of like London, they stab you first, then they rob you. In Colombia, they're so nice down there. Even the criminals are nice, right? Everybody's so nice down there. It's crazy. They're like, hey, how are you? Nice. You don't even know these people. The finest girl in the world says good morning to you. You're like, me? Yeah, so even the criminals are nice. But here's what they do. When they go in traffic, if you're in a taxi and you're in the back seat, they'll have two motorcycles pull up on both sides and point guns at both sides. Give me your stuff. Don't fight guys, okay? It's that simple. Just hand your shit over. You can replace it. I can't replace you.
Right.
And you guys are my boys now. Hey, listen to this. And nobody knows this because I'm getting a lot of hate a lot of time. Call me this, call me that. But just like the 90s, you guys remember who grew up in the 90s, 80s,
right
and 90s? Everybody. Let me ask you something, because I went to a public school just like everybody else, 50-50 black population. We didn't have racism like they do now. These kids are fucked up. Like real bad racism. 90s was not like it is today. It's like we took a break. We were like we were getting our shit together. We were coming together.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know about that, but okay.
No. You know what? I'm gonna say this though. I went to high school in like Fairburn, Georgia, even though I grew up in Atlanta. And I have to say that it's some truth to what he's saying. It might be thrown out, but it's a little truth to what he's saying, because I think that we did take a little bit of a break, because I had a lot of friends. And it just wasn't on that type of time, really.
Same here. Being raised in Miami, being a black skater, hanging out with kids, listening to Metallica and all that stuff. Yeah, something happened during the 90s that we just took a break and everybody was just on the same page.
And now, Passportbros are doing the exact same thing down here in Mexico. I'm not sure about now Colombia, but here in Mexico, especially in this particular area where I am, there's a lot of veterans. And all those veterans is a mix of everybody. So, and everybody hangs out and gets along, sits on the porch, talks, drinks coffee. It's just like the 90s in high school, for me anyway. And I'm hoping that we'll get more guys to come down and open their fucking eyes, open their eyes and see, oh, you mean these people are nice and everybody's nice to me, so I'm going to start being nice to everybody. And you know what else I started doing, guys? Started telling the truth all the time.
Well, I'll just say this
all the time. It's like a challenge to everybody. Always tell the truth, because Latinas take it very personally when you lie to them. And we're used to lying to girls a lot. You can keep a girl.
To go to BMT's point he was talking about earlier, has there been a shift change? And I think there has been a shift change, because when I was in Medellin, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, Like you could pretty much go anywhere and not feel like, you know, you're gonna get robbed in an Uber or even scoped or whatever. And like I was looking at Razor Ray's one of his things, like when they were going through some of the comments from the Colombians, and it was in regards to like one of these guys who had got robbed and scoped or whatever. Like their comment section, it was like dumb foreigners shouldn't have been here. All they do is chase after this and this. And I was like, yo, that's how they really think about us now. Like if you
I
think
agree.
about it,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
know, so they got a little hostility towards us, which I didn't really know.
Yeah, if you get drugged anywhere in Medellin and something happens to you, it's gonna be, oh, you was doing this, you was doing that. You could have just been literally just on a date and she came home and drugged you, but the going narrative is you was messing with a propago, and this is what you get for messing with a propago, no matter what happens to you, no matter the situation. That's how they're gonna spin it on the narrative in order for them not to do anything about it. So you're absolutely right.
One thing, guys, to keep in mind is like
All right,
I
I'ma
still
step
encourage
off,
people.
guys. I'll talk to y'all.
I still encourage people to go to Colombia. I still encourage them to go to Medellin, Cartagena. I just say, hey, listen, just be mindful where you stay. Don't be cheap as far as where you rest your head. Make sure wherever you stay, there's security, there's cameras. Don't carry nothing with you that you're not prepared to lose. So if you're going out,
Black Men Travels, would you encourage people to go to Colombia, but would you say if you're a first-time traveler to go somewhere else first, or you just
first time travelers, like first time got their passport and it's like, hey, where to go? I would say go to DR. That's the first place I always recommend. Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or even Mexico. Like go to Cancun or Tulum. That's a first time passport holder. Once you get that feel, like, hey, you know the feeling of being overseas. All right, go to Colombia. Then I would say the first city to go to Colombia is Cartagena. Go to Cartagena first. And from there, once you got that, you know, once you experience Colombia for what it is, then go to Medellin. But hey, just be mindful. These are the rules. You know, reach out to people who've been there already. You know, join different Facebook groups. Try to get a feel as far as what's happening. The problem is you got a lot of guys is, hey, I got my passport. I'm going straight to Colombia. And they didn't talk to anybody. They just showed up. And it's just like, okay, then of course they see everything. They see all the Instagram and Facebook, and they see these chicas all over the place. Oh, she likes me. No, she doesn't. You got to be careful. And of course, a lot of guys are not aware that you're not supposed to use Tinder, but they still jump on Tinder. So they go there and get caught up, man. And it's always like that. Like, to be honest, I think most of the recent murders that happened in Medellin were dudes that first time going to Colombia. And first time go to Medellin because they taking that same American mindset, the way we move here in America, to Medellin. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to walk around looking like you got money. You're not supposed to jump on Tinder thinking that you're going to have an instant connection. You're not supposed to walk around with your phone in your hand. You're not supposed to walk around with chain, a big old Cuban link on around your neck. All the things that we do in the States, they take that same mindset and take it to Medellin, not knowing that them people will kill you for that.
Yeah, and you know what another problem is that I see? Like one of the bigger YouTubers, I'm not gonna say his name, but he has a pretty sizable channel. He does hidden cam videos in Colombia and stuff like that, right? So he has all these subscribers, but this guy was drugged and robbed, right? But he might do a little interview with Razor Rays or something like that, and Razor Rays reaches like 7,000 or 3,000. Razor Rays definitely, we all in the mix, but his channel that goes 200-something thousand people, they don't know, right? They're oblivious to what really all they see is the women, and they go out there because what most guys hear is they see the video and they say, "Oh, look at all the beautiful women." Then they say, "Oh, they should be impressed by me being American."
Yeah,
I'm learning a little Spanish for
and
a
that's
month.
bullshit.
Go out there.
And that's the thing. I know exactly who you're talking to, DMT. Again, I seen a lot of his content. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, people want to see ass and titties, and that's the draw for them. And it's sad that they think that when they go there, they're gonna see that. You're gonna see that, but guess what? You're gonna see a barrel right there in your face, getting ready to rob you, or a knife gonna stab you, and that's happening. And the thing is, he's not telling his audience, like, yeah, you're gonna see all this good stuff, but also too, if you come there slipping, you may come back home in the body bag.
That's facts. Let me catch a super chat real quick, and I'm gonna welcome the Black Clean to the show. I want to give a shout out to GMAT. The $4.99 super chat. It says, let's not forget there was a mass influx of Venezuelans who migrated to Colombia. Their gangs are there as well and eating off tourists. That is true.
That is true. And that's something at BNT. I want to talk about that same comment you have up on the Venezuelans. Guys, I understand you guys love the Venezuelans, but be careful. They're the ones that are actually doing a lot of the robbing and a lot of the drugging. In Cartagena, a lot of the drugs that's happening are women from Medellin. And a lot of the women from Medellin are Venezuelans that are doing a lot of drugs and stabbings. So be mindful of that. And the thing is, it wasn't like that during the 2015, 2019, because Venezuela, there was like a big travel restriction between Colombians and Venezuelans. But now that it's open, dude, I've noticed the overall crime has gone up once Venezuelans started coming into the country. So keep that in mind.
That's very true. Black Cleaner.
Panama is just.
Black Cleaner, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing. I'm hearing all of this stuff because as I said, I'm right next door to Colombia, and I've been wanting to go there because one of my partners just came from there, and he actually did the ayahuasca retreat out there. I think it was a 3-day retreat out there, and he said he had a good time out there. But now I'm hearing all of this. I'm kind of apprehensive, gun shy about pulling that trigger over there. But Panama's doesn't have any of that. So anybody who's gun shy about going to Colombia, we're only 7 hours away next door.
Okay. Good point. All right, hold on. All right, Professor Mesh, you want to tell us what we're looking at here? I had to download the video. Professor Mesh, you there?
Hey, BMT, I got to bounce, man. Hey, thanks for having me on your show, man. Definitely want to talk to you offline when you get a chance.
Okay.
I'll hit you up, though.
Yeah, hit me up. We'll go on the gram or something?
Yeah, but I took a break from the gram. But you know what? I'll get your number, man.
Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook, bro.
All right, man. Guys, take care. Happy New Year, guys.
Guys, hey, listen, before you go, don't be afraid of Colombia for nothing.
Nah, man. Colombia's a good place, man.
You're one of the men. Come on.
All right.
See you later. We're talking.
Professor Mex. I'm going to go ahead and play the video, okay?
All right, let's go.
This is Choco.
¿Y usted cómo se llama?
Marciano Palacio Robledo.
Mucho gusto, Justin.
This is the area I told you about. This is where all the indigenous people live. There's no roads in, there are no bridges. You gotta go here by boat. Most of the people who live over here, they work in the illegal gold mines out there.
What is that?
It's dredging. Okay, they basically suck up the river and they get all of the minerals out and they filter it and then they dump it into the boat and that's how they process gold. And in the process, they pollute the fucking river. This, of course, is the jungle that we got no business in. Right here. No business at all. You go walking through this shit, there's probably a landmine that'll fucking blow your legs off. Before we have any fart guys pointing weapons at us over there, we turn the hell around.
Okay.
So that was the last day. That was today, by the way, and 7 years ago today. And tomorrow was the day that I left Cumberland forever because of that stupid thing I said right there. And it seemed innocent to us, right? It seems innocent to us, but when you translate it, basically says the government doesn't care about people because they poisoned 20-something kids and they died. Okay, and that's what made national attention because of the the mercury that was in the water. And you saw that nasty ass river, okay, full of mercury, poison. And all those kids died, but the media came the very next day and swarmed the whole town. And I was in trouble. I was in real trouble, guys. So do not screw up. Obviously, you're not going to do that. I mean, I was a fire chief there for a long, long time, and I'd lost my job, and I lost my position, and I lost a lot of friends, and I lost a lot of respect. So just like in Asia, you don't want to lose face. You don't want to lose your temper around people. You don't want to be a pussy, but you got to be nice to people. See, Colombians would die before they hurt your feelings. They're the nicest people ever. So anybody in the chat right now talking about no-go, Colombia, it just depends on where you go. And if you want to really go easy, go to Panama first. It's easier there. It's just basically 3 million Venezuelans there too. So, but I would say to get your feet wet, if any of you guys don't have your passport yet and you're thinking about it, go to Puerto Rico. Go to the Virgin Islands. You can go there on a driver's license. And if you owe child support, you can live there too, guys. You can live there like I did. Pay your child support off, get a P.O. box, get a U.S. dollar paying job there. So, and a minimum wage, everything is the same, except it's like the Virgin Islands would be like a miniature Jamaica, and then Puerto Rico would be Puerto Rico. So, and they do have Dominican ladies there too. Lots and lots of Dominican ladies in Puerto Rico. So if you don't have your passport, that's another thing. And if you're a veteran, there's a VA hospital in Puerto Rico, in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So if any of you passport bros that are the Veterans Without Borders, you can go to Puerto Rico. They put an express lane for combat veterans if you guys are waiting on your benefits too. So there is that. There's 100,000 Americans down there, 100,000 GIs, and just everybody's down there. And if you're scared, just go to Puerto Rico first. And if you can handle that, then you can handle any of those countries. You know what I mean? The traffic is the most dangerous thing in all these countries, more than anything. Not rateros. You know that us passport bros and expats make up less than 0.02% of the population. So we're not putting a big dent in gentrifying everything, one. And we're not taking all the girls either. Who are the #1 consumers of prostitution in Colombia? Colombians. That's why it exists. So anybody's thinking that's all we go down here and do, dude, that makes about as much sense as me paying all this money to buy a plane ticket, pay all this money to stay in a hotel, and fly to somewhere just to go to the McDonald's drive-through. Makes no sense. None. So you go down there with a purpose. You have a reason to go down there. Mine is very different. The reason why I'm in Mexico, I'm not here for the women at all. I started a fire school down here. So that there's the fire academy, and that is a purpose in life. Now I get to go to all these other countries and do the same damn thing, and people appreciate me. People respect me. I couldn't do this in the States. I have a criminal record. You know what I'm saying? I can't go apply for a municipality job in California or Florida or Texas or anywhere. I can't because I have a record. Okay. But when I was able to go overseas, I started my life over again. And I was able to finish my degree in fire science, which is 4 years, became an officer. And next thing you know, man, people are like coming to me for questions. And I'm like, hey, this is just like the military, man. We could do this. And you know what's been cool is that my situation where I had, felony charges, I was never convicted. But the fact that I had an arrest, actually several arrests, 19 to be exact, for being drunk in public and fighting. So just so you guys know, March, I got my sober anniversary. Been sober 22 years now, so I don't have that problem anymore. But I've been arrested that many times, so I can't go to the United States and get a job, period. It's just not allowed, especially at this level that I'm at now. So if you guys want to start your life over, you can. Be yourself, be your authentic self, be you, be the real you. So not to pretend to be you, the one that, whatever. Be the real you when you come down, and you'll be amazed. Your eyes will be open, the scales will fall off, and you'll go, oh, shit, great down here.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. Good points. Good points. I want to welcome Get Your Passport, gentlemen, and travel to the show.
How's it going, BMT? How's everybody doing?
I see you out there working, man. You're hitting it hard for that next trip.
Oh man, you know it is coming in May. Coming in May, man.
Okay, excellent, excellent. What you think about the show?
I was listening to y'all on my way driving to work, man. I just keep hearing negative stuff about Colombia. I agree with Global Passport when he was on. He was saying that you know it's a dangerous place, and you know probably need to start rethinking about traveling there. I also agree with the other gentleman that was on there that was saying that it's Colombia is a huge place. I mean, there's other places beside Medellin and Cantiena and all the popular places and things. But at the same time, even if you travel to like the coffee country and stuff like that, those rules that you apply in Medellin and other places, you still want to maintain. So for me, I know that I probably would, if it's my first time traveling, I would probably X off Colombia and go to a place like Panama. I mean, there's other places to travel besides Colombia. I think everybody travels to Colombia because it's so close in proximity to the U.S. But I would look at other countries like Panama and stuff like that to travel. It's a lot safer.
Excellent, excellent. Well, guys, we approached that hour. It was great chopping up with you. We in at 2 hours. Still get your passports. And Passport Bros has a very bright future in 2024. I also want to thank everybody for coming on the panel and giving out very good information. Professor Met, Get Your Passport, Gentlemen Travel, and the Black Cleaner. All right, guys, we out.
All right,
peace. Fellas. Peace.